You've been warned. Archangel Michael says, "It's an emergency. I ordered you to open this now. You have been warned. A demon is hiding in plain sight. Listen carefully, don't skip this. Because what you're about to hear is not coincidence, it's a calling. A warning whispered through divine channels. And tonight, it reaches you." Archangel Michael has sounded the alarm. His message is urgent, his tone fierce. He says a demon walks among us, hiding in plain sight. It could be in your home, in your city, or closer than you think. And this time, ignoring the signs could cost more than you can imagine. For centuries, Archangel Michael has been the shield of heaven, the warrior of light, the protector against the darkness that slips through unseen cracks in the world. But now, he speaks again, louder than before, and his command is simple. Open your eyes before it's too late. Why now? Why this message? Because something ancient has awakened. The balance between light and shadow has shifted. People everywhere report strange dreams, symbols of fire, wings, and unblinking eyes watching from the dark. It's no longer myth. It's manifesting. Michael's message began appearing to chosen souls across the globe. They described the same voice, calm but commanding, telling them, "Warn the others. The deceiver wears a familiar face." Some ignored it. Others heeded it and were saved from tragedies they couldn't explain. This isn't just spiritual talk. It's spiritual warfare. And it begins the moment you recognize the truth. In the ancient texts, Michael's name means "who is like God." He stands at the gates between heaven and hell, wielding the sword of divine justice, and when he speaks, heaven trembles. But when he warns, the earth must listen. A warning was never meant for the masses. It was meant for you. Because you were guided here for a reason. It's not random that you found this message right now, at this exact moment. You've been marked as one who can see through the illusion that blinds others. Michael's signal is not only a call to awareness, it's a test. Will you open your spirit to receive the light? Or turn away and allow the darkness to spread unchecked? Type Amen 3541 right now if you choose the side of light. Let heaven know that you heard the message and you're ready to receive protection. There is a reason this revelation begins with urgency. A demon, ancient and cunning, has taken a new form, masquerading as a symbol of goodness. It thrives where attention is blind and faith is weak. That's why Michael's message is reaching out through any means possible to awaken the watchers. The signs have already started. Sudden chills, flickering lights, the feeling of being watched when you're alone. These are not coincidences. They are warnings, and before this night ends, you'll discover the truth about the shadow hiding among us. But you must stay till the end, because what's coming in part 2 will expose the exact way this demon manipulates minds and conceals itself in your daily life. Type Amen 7764 if you're ready for protection and revelation. Listen carefully, and whatever you do, don't look away. What I'm about to tell you will make you question everything you thought you knew about good and evil. Archangel Michael's message grows louder with every passing hour, and those who ignore it risk falling into the web of something dark, something that feeds not on blood or flesh, but on faith itself. You see, The greatest deception the demon ever created wasn't monstrous horns or fiery eyes. It was beauty. It was charm. It was the face of light. That's how it hides, by pretending to be everything divine. When Michael says a demon is hiding in plain sight, he's not speaking in riddles. He's revealing a pattern, one that has repeated throughout human history. The darkness doesn't always arrive with chaos. It often begins with comfort. It appears as a voice that promises ease, love, and success, only to quietly drain the spirit until the soul no longer fights back. The demon hides in the everyday, a person you trust, a system you follow, a ritual you perform without understanding. That is why Michael's command was clear. Warn them now. Stay with me till the end, because what you will discover will protect you and your family from the invisible grip of deception that already surrounds millions. If you feel a shiver as you listen, that's not fear. It's recognition. Your spirit already senses what's coming. Michael has chosen you to awaken because your light is still strong enough to resist the veil that blinds so many. But to do that, you must first see how the mask of light truly works. It begins with a whisper, a thought that tells you there's no need to pray today. You can skip it. You can rest. You deserve a break. That whisper grows into a habit, and before long, the connection weakens. That's when the entity moves closer. It attaches itself to comfort and familiarity. It doesn't want to frighten you, it wants to lull you. It wants you to stop questioning, stop feeling. Stop noticing. That's why Archangel Michael's message is so urgent, because most people never realize when they've already welcomed the darkness inside. Now, before we continue deeper, I want to ask you something important. If this message resonates, if you feel that pulse of truth stirring within you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this message. Comment below and say, I hear the call. Let others know they are not alone in feeling this divine disturbance. And make sure you subscribe, because what's coming in part 3 will expose the exact methods the demon uses to manipulate your surroundings. By staying connected, you become part of a circle of light, a chain of protection that grows stronger with every awakened soul. The more people you help reach, the weaker the shadow becomes. Type Amen 4923 in the comments right now if you choose to stand in the circle of protection. Let your energy align with Michael's shield. You may not realize it, but every time you acknowledge truth, light pierces through another layer of deception. Your awareness is a weapon, and awareness spreads through unity. That's why the message must travel. Now, let's look closer at the deception itself. The demon wears symbols of peace, performs acts of kindness, and uses love as a lure. It can occupy leaders, influencers, even spiritual figures. It feeds on attention and admiration. That's why Michael warns us to test the spirit behind every light. Not every good thing comes from God. Some are traps designed to mimic purity. And when you follow false light, you lose sight of the real one. The Bible itself foretold this when it said that even the devil disguises himself as an angel of light. Those weren't poetic words. They were a warning for this exact time. Michael's command isn't just about seeing the demon. It's about reclaiming spiritual authority. When you become aware, the darkness loses its foothold. You stop reacting out of fear and start discerning through faith. That's when miracles begin to occur. People who have heeded Michael's warning report sudden clarity, jobs they weren't meant to take collapsing before disaster. Relationships ending just in time to prevent heartbreak, and visions that guide them back to divine purpose. These are not coincidences. They are signs of protection. If you are hearing this now, understand. Your soul was meant to awaken at this precise moment. You are no accidents. The message found you because heaven is moving through you. Archangel Michael is forming an army, not with swords or fire, but with truth and conviction, and right now, you're being enlisted. Every time you listen, every time you stay till the end, every time you choose light over distraction, the demon's illusion cracks. Type Amen 8706 if you accept the call. Speak it aloud. Let the vibration of those words affirm your faith and seal your protection. Something powerful is unfolding, and those who remain will witness revelation unlike any before. Stay with me. Do not look away. Because what you're about to uncover is not just knowledge. It's spiritual power. Archangel Michael's warning wasn't about an enemy you could see, but about one that hides within what you feel. The greatest deception is not external. It's internal. The demon does not always appear in your dreams or manifest in your room. Sometimes it takes the shape of your own emotions. It whispers through fear, breathes through anger, and feeds through despair. And unless you recognize its touch, it will use your very heart against you. Michael revealed that the true battlefield is the human soul. While we look for monsters in the shadows, the real war takes place within us. Emotions are divine instruments meant to guide, connect, and heal. But when twisted, they become gateways. The demon knows this well. It waits for the moment your energy falters, for the instant your faith weakens, and then it begins to weave its illusion. That's why so many people feel lost without understanding why. Their emotions are being influenced by something unseen, something ancient. Think about it. Have you ever felt sudden anger for no reason? A wave of hopelessness that didn't seem to come from you? Those are not random feelings. They are echoes of something feeding on your emotional frequency. When Michael said the deceiver wears a familiar face, he wasn't just speaking of people. He was speaking of reflections, your own reflection when consumed by a false emotion. The demon's mastery lies in mimicry. It mirrors your pain and makes you believe it belongs to you. But it doesn't. It's a vibration seeded into your thoughts to weaken your spirit and distance you from divine protection. Stay till the end, because I will reveal how you can recognize the signature of this emotional parasite and break free from its influence. It disguises itself in guilt, making you relive mistakes that heaven has already forgiven. It cloaks itself in envy, convincing you that others have what you never will. And most dangerously, it distorts love, turning affection into obsession and care into control. Every time it twists a pure emotion, it gains more power over you. But Michael's message comes with hope. He says the light within you can burn brighter than any deception if you choose awareness. The first step is acknowledgement. When you feel sudden waves of emotion, pause and ask, "Is this mine?" The moment you question it, the illusion weakens. The demon thrives in blindness. Awareness is its poison, remember this. No darkness can survive in the presence of examined truth. Type Amen 3108 if you choose awareness right now. Speak it and let your inner light expand. You are not powerless. You are part of Michael's chosen watchmen, and awareness is your sword. Let me tell you something most people don't know. When Archangel Michael first appeared to ancient prophets, his presence wasn't only visual. It was emotional. Witnesses described overwhelming peace that silenced every fear in their hearts. That's the counterforce to the demon's manipulation. The divine frequency of peace. Whenever you feel turmoil, chaos, or unrest, remember the presence of peace is proof of light. Where peace reigns, no darkness can dwell. So when confusion arises, seek stillness, and Michael will meet you there. There's a reason the demon works through emotion. It's the most direct path to the soul. The mind can be persuaded by logic, but the heart can be conquered by feeling. That's why people fall for illusions that seem loving or righteous, but lead to ruin. The demon takes your natural empathy and turns it into weakness. It whispers, "Forgive everything," even when discernment is needed. It says love means sacrifice, when in truth, love should liberate. It makes you confuse pain with purpose. Michael warns us that not all suffering is sacred. Some is engineered to drain spiritual power. When you start to feel guilt that paralyzes you, when fear stops you from stepping into your destiny, remember this: that is not divine correction. It is demonic manipulation. The divine voice convicts, yes, but it always leads to freedom. The demonic voice condemns and leads to paralysis. Learn to recognize which voice speaks to you. Michael says test every spirit. The one that brings peace is of light. The one that brings torment is not. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal next could change the way you see your entire life. The demon thrives in cycles, repeated emotions that trap you. It makes you relive old pain, repeat old patterns and attract the same energy again and again. That's why some people can't escape toxic relationships or negative habits. They are spiritually bound by emotional cords. These cords are invisible threads that tie the soul to the frequency of the deceiver. But they can be broken, and I'll show you how. When you recognize a recurring emotion that drains you, pause. Breathe. Go upon Archangel Michael. Speak these words with intent, Michael. Cut every cord not tied by divine light. Then visualize his sword of fire descending between you and that emotion. Feel the release, even if tears come. That is freedom returning. It's not imagination. It's invocation. You're commanding the same power that cast the dragon out of heaven. Type Amen 6432 if you claim that freedom now. Say it as a declaration. You are no longer a vessel for manipulation. You are a warrior of discernment. Do not scroll. Do not look away. Because what you're about to hear may be the most important truth you've ever received. Archangel Michael's latest warning is not about what's coming. It's about what's already here. The demon that once hid behind rituals and shadows has evolved. It no longer waits for midnight or sacred grounds. It hides in plain sight, right in your hands, on your screens, in your feeds. The age of physical deception is over. The new battlefield is digital. Michael's voice echoes through chosen souls around the world, and his words are the same. The network has become the net. What was built to connect humanity has become a web that ensnares the mind and the spirit. The demon of illusion has found its perfect disguise: technology. Every scroll, every click, every endless feed of distraction is a silent drain on your spiritual awareness. What you think is harmless entertainment may be a spiritual exchange, a transfer of your focus, your peace, your faith. Listen closely. The demon thrives on attention. It does not care if you love or hate what you see. It only cares that you keep watching. Every moment your attention is consumed by chaos, vanity, fear, or envy, a little more of your divine clarity fades. That's why Michael said, "Guard your eyes, for they are the gateway to your soul." The endless stream of images, the voices in the background, the flashing symbols, these are not coincidences. They are frequencies, and frequency is how energy travels. Michael revealed that the demon has woven itself into these frequencies, using sound, color, and repetition to dull spiritual senses. You've seen it. Songs that glorify despair, videos that normalize chaos, news that spreads fear instead of truth. The goal isn't to entertain. It's to weaken faith. Because a tired soul is an easy soul to possess. When distraction becomes addiction, control becomes easy. If you're still here listening, you're already resisting. And that means you are one of the few awake enough to fight back. But before we continue deeper, pause for a moment. If you believe this message needs to reach more people, if you know someone who spends hours lost in the noise of the digital world, then share this right now. Comment below. I choose awareness. And make sure you subscribe so you never miss the next revelation. Because what's coming next will expose exactly how the demon manipulates through algorithms and trends. Each part builds the shield stronger. Do not miss even one. Type Amen 4152 if you're ready to break the chains of distraction and reclaim your divine focus. Every time you affirm truth, light cuts through digital darkness. And now let's go deeper. You felt it. The exhaustion after hours online. The strange heaviness after scrolling through negativity. The comparison that breeds silent despair. That's not just psychological fatigue. It's energetic depletion. You're not only seeing images. You're absorbing frequencies. The demon understands that the easiest way to destroy faith is not to attack it, but to distract it. It doesn't need to make you believe in darkness. He only needs to make you forget the light. Michael calls this phenomenon digital possession. It's not a Hollywood-style takeover. It's a subtle takeover of attention. When the mind is enslaved, the heart follows. He warns that these influences aren't random. They are strategically designed. Behind every trend that glorifies chaos, every message that promotes emptiness, lies the same ancient force that once whispered in the ears of kings and prophets. Only now, it doesn't need temples. It has devices. And yet, there's a way out. Michael says that awareness alone breaks half the spell. When you begin to see what's behind the veil, the power weakens. The next step is alignment. Before you touch your phone in the morning, speak light into your day. Say aloud, "Only truth will enter my spirit today." It may sound simple, but words are frequencies too, and divine words are protection. Every morning, visualize Archangel Michael standing between you and the digital fog, his sword drawn, his wings blazing. Let that be your shield. Type Amen 9740 to declare that shield over your life right now. Let the heavens record your stand for clarity and truth. Michael warns that the digital web is not just stealing attention. It's writing identity. People no longer know who they are without what they post. The demon feeds on confusion. It wants you to measure your worth by numbers, your joy by comparison, your peace by approval. But you were never meant to live like that. Heaven designed you to create, not to compete. The digital illusion wants you to forget that. And the most dangerous part, the demon hides behind convenience. It whispers, "It's just entertainment. It's harmless. Everyone does it." That's how it spreads, through acceptance. Once you stop questioning, you start surrendering. That's why Michael's message sounds like a warning siren now, because the time for silence has ended. He says if they cannot see, they will fall. And yet, he also says, if even one awakens, the darkness trembles. You are that one. The fact that you're still here, reading these words means heaven has appointed you to carry this awareness forward. You were chosen not to escape the world, but to transform it. Light that lives within you can travel through the same networks the demon uses. When you share truth, when you post hope, when you speak life, you turn the web into a weapon of light. That's why this message matters. Stay with me. Do not look away, because what you're about to receive is not just knowledge, it's a weapon. Archangel Michael's voice has been clear. Those who are bound by invisible chains must purify before they can rise. You've heard the warnings. You've seen the signs. But now comes the moment of transformation. This is where the watchers become warriors. This is where the illusion loses its grip. Because within every soul lies a divine code, a spiritual frequency capable of cleansing all corruption. Michael calls it the purification code. This is not a ritual for the faint-hearted. It is an ancient process known only to those who carry light within them. Michael revealed that the demon hides not just in the digital or emotional realms, but also in the residue of human energy. Each negative interaction, each toxic word, leaves an imprint, a stain that dulls your light. When those stains accumulate, they create what he calls spiritual static. That static blocks divine communication and keeps your prayers from reaching full resonance. To purify, you must clear the static completely. The first step is recognition. You cannot heal what you refuse to see. Michael says, every shadow that you face willingly loses its power. Begin by acknowledging what weighs on you. Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it guilt for something that no longer defines you? Speak it out loud. The spoken word activates spiritual law. When you name your burden, you drag it out of darkness and into the light. Light always wins. This step opens the gateway. The second step is release. This part is not symbolic. It is energetic. Close your eyes and imagine a cord running from your chest into the ground. This cord carries the heavy energy that has lingered in your aura for years. Now, call upon Archangel Michael and say these words by the sword of truth. I release what does not serve my divine path. See his blade of light descending. Visualize it severing the cords of pain, confusion, and fear. Feel the release as your energy shifts. This is more than imagination. It is invocation. When you speak with faith, heaven moves. Type Amen 52:19 if you're ready to cut every unseen chain that binds you. Say it now and seal your intention. The third step is renewal. Michael teaches that once the energy is cleared, the void must be filled with divine frequency. Otherwise, the darkness will try to return. To renew, you must call light into your being. Picture a golden flame at the center of your heart. With every breath, it grows brighter, purer, and stronger. Whisper these words: I receive the light of divine truth. I am restored in clarity and power. This flame is your spiritual identity reigniting. Every soul carries it, but few ever let it burn this bright. When it does, the demon cannot even approach. Now that you've learned the 3 steps, recognition, release, and renewal, you've taken back control of your energy. You've stepped out of the fog that has kept humanity in spiritual sleep for centuries. Michael says those who purify shall see the unseen. That means your discernment will heighten. You will begin to sense energies in people and places. You will notice how some things suddenly repel you or no longer resonate. That's not judgment. It's spiritual clarity returning. Here's a reason this process had been hidden. The forces that feed on confusion never wanted humanity to remember its power. They rely on ignorance. They rely on fatigue. But once one soul awakens, it becomes a beacon that awakens others. That's why you've been guided here, not just to listen, but to embody light. Because your light alone can shift the energy of an entire room, an entire family, even an entire generation. Michael reminds us that purification is not a one-time act. It's a daily alignment. Every day, you are surrounded by energies, frequencies, and thoughts that can distort your vibration. The goal is not to escape the world, but to walk through it untouchable. How? Through daily renewal. When you wake up, before touching your phone or speaking to anyone, pause and call upon Michael. Say aloud, guard my mind, purify my heart, protect my light. When you do this, your energy field becomes a fortress. The more you practice it, the stronger your shield becomes. Type Amen 8084 right now if you accept that divine shield over your life. Let this declaration be your spiritual armor. And listen. What's happening to you now is not coincidence. Some of you will begin to feel heat in your hands, a tingling in your spine, or waves of emotion that rise and fall. That is energy moving. That is purification in motion. Michael's presence is near whenever transformation occurs. He's not just watching, he's working. You might sense him as a shimmer of light or an overwhelming peace that settles deep within your chest. When you feel it, don't doubt it. That's how heaven confirms your awakening. A demon fears the purified. It cannot attach to what vibrates in truth. That's why, from this moment, you must guard your frequency. Protect your peace. Avoid conversations that pull you into anger or despair. Limit your exposure to digital noise. Remember what Michael said, the eyes are gates, the ears are doors, and the heart is the throne. Whatever you allow in will sit upon that throne, so choose wisely what you feed your spirit. As the purification deepens, strange things may happen. People who no longer align with your energy may drift away. Habits you once craved may suddenly feel heavy. Do not resist this. It's not loss, it's liberation. You're shedding the remnants of an old vibration that can no longer travel with you. You are ascending to a frequency where darkness can't fall. Michael calls this the silent rise, the stage where your light multiplies quietly, invisibly, until one day the world recognizes a glow in you it cannot explain. Do not look away. Stay till the very last word, because this part carries something sacred, something that cannot be unseen once revealed. Archangel Michael has spoken again, and his words come not as a whisper but as a decree. Those who carry the mark of protection shall not be touched by the deceiver. This mark is not carved into flesh. It is not visible to human eyes. It's a signature of divine energy, a spiritual seal placed upon those who awaken, purify, and stand unafraid in the face of illusion. You are moments away from learning how to receive it. Michael says that in the old days this seal was known as the flame of the guardian. It is a resonance, not a symbol. When activated, it changes the vibration of your entire being. Demons recognize it instantly. To them, it shines like a burning sun, impossible to approach. A mark may semble, but the mark walk undone. Yet this protection cannot be faked. It responds only to sincerity. It cannot be bought, worn, or pretended. It must be earned through alignment. To understand this mark, we must first look at the nature of divine authority. Every angel operates under command, no action without purpose. And every soul, whether aware or not, carries a fragment of that same authority. You were born with the right to call light into your life, to command protection, and to stand sovereign in your faith. But when that authority lies dormant, the enemy manipulates it. That's why Michael is calling now, because humanity has forgotten its own command. The mark of protection is the reawakening of that authority within you. Michael instructs that the mark activates through 3 stages: recognition, invocation, and imprinting. Recognition means understanding that you are not powerless. The same divine current that fuels the angels flows through you. Invocation is when you consciously invite that current to manifest. And imprinting is when heaven responds, embedding the energy of protection within your spiritual field. Once imprinted, it stays with you, resonating like an unbreakable signal of light. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs. This is the breath of creation, the same breath that shaped stars and galaxies. Now imagine a radiant circle of light forming above your head. Michael stands within it, his wings stretching beyond your sight, his sword blazing blue. He lowers his hand and says, "Child of light, you are marked by truth." As he touches your crown, a spark of white fire flows through your body, sealing every opening, closing every wound, and aligning your energy to divine order. That right there is the moment of imprinting. Type Amen 6791 if you choose to receive that mark of divine protection right now. Let this declaration serve as your spiritual consent. When the mark settles, strange sensations may occur. Some feel warmth on their forehead. Others sense a subtle vibration in the chest, and a few even see flashes of light. These are not hallucinations. They are confirmations. Heaven leaves evidence. Michael's energy is unmistakable. Peace, strength, and authority blend together in perfect harmony. When that frequency enters your life, fear loses its voice. Worry loses its bite. It is not arrogance to walk protected. It is obedience to divine will. Michael warns, however, that the mark will be tested. Darkness never surrenders easily. You may face sudden challenges, misunderstandings, or emotional turbulence after receiving this energy. That is not punishment. It is purification completing its cycle. The test exists to prove your light to yourself. When the pressure rises, repeat these words. I am sealed in truth, no deception shall enter. Speak it aloud because sound activates spiritual law. Every time you say it, the mark strengthens. There's an ancient truth hidden in this, one that few dare to speak aloud. Long ago, spiritual warriors wore invisible seals that demons could see. Entire villages were spared because one marked soul stood among them. That's how powerful this energy is. When your vibration aligns with Michael's, darkness cannot withstand your presence. The mark doesn't only protect, it radiates. People around you may begin to feel calmer, more grounded, even without knowing why. As your field at work, type Amen 9503 if you are ready to let your light extend beyond yourself to protect your home, your loved ones, your community. Michael's message grows more urgent by the day because the deceiver grows bolder. It no longer fears exposure. It thrives on disbelief. But disbelief cannot penetrate truth. When you carry the mark, you become a living reminder of heaven's order, and the darkness trembles at that. You will begin to sense energy shifts. When you enter a place filled with negativity, it will feel heavier. But instead of fearing it, you'll naturally radiate peace. That's the evidence of alignment. The light that once protected prophets, kings, and healers now flows through you. Listen carefully. This protection is not only for defense, it's also for direction. Once the mark is activated, you will notice synchronicities increasing. Numbers, dreams, and sudden thoughts will begin to guide you. That's not coincidence. It's divine navigation. Michael says, the mark shall walk guided, never lost. He calls it the lighted path. Every choice illuminated by intuition, every danger sensed before arrival. That's the reward of obedience and faith. But here's the truth most overlooked. You must maintain the mark. Negativity, bitterness, or dishonesty can dim its power. The mark thrives in purity. It doesn't mean perfection. It means alignment with truth. When you fall, rise quickly. When you doubt, pray immediately. The mark does not vanish when you struggle. It flickers, waiting for you to rekindle it. Michael says, every moment of humility restores the seal. So remain humble. Remain aware. Let love anchor your strength. Do not move. Stay exactly where you are. Because what you're about to hear carries an ancient truth buried since the dawn of man. A truth Archangel Michael says must now be spoken again. This is the part most were never meant to know. He calls it the covenant of light. It is the eternal agreement forged between heaven and the first souls of earth. An agreement that promised protection, power, and divine purpose to those who would carry the flame of truth through the ages. You are about to discover that this covenant was never broken, only forgotten. And tonight, you are being called to remember it. Michael's voice is clear. The ones who remember are the ones who rise. He says that before humanity's fall into distraction and deception, there was unity between the celestial and the mortal. Angels walk beside humankind, teaching them the language of light, the resonance of creation itself. His language wasn't spoken through words but through vibration. When humans sang it, the earth flourished. When they forgot it, darkness grew bold. That moment of forgetting was the first great breach, and it opened the doorway for the deceiver to enter our world. But the covenant remained, sealed in the memory of the awakened. It states one sacred law. Light protects light. Those who live in alignment with divine truth become conduits through which angels can act. You were never meant to be helpless. You were meant to be the link, the living bridge between realms. That is why the demon fears your awakening. Because once you remember the covenant, its power to deceive collapses. Every shadow thrives on ignorance, but knowledge illuminated by faith becomes an unstoppable force. Michael says that every age has had its chosen. They appear when darkness spreads too far. In the past, they were called prophets, healers, or guardians. Today, they are the ones who see through illusion, the ones who feel energy, who sense rawness in the world even when everyone else calls it normal. That feeling you've carried all your life, that quiet knowing that something isn't right, that's your covenant memory stirring. It's your soul remembering the promise it made before you came here, to hold light no matter how dark the world becomes. The demon's greatest achievement was convincing mankind that angels no longer walk among them. But Michael never left. His presence has always been around those who still seek truth. Still protect love, still stand firm when fear shouts the loudest. He says the covenant is the tether that binds heaven to earth. Through it, divine forces can act through you. You become an extension of angelic will capable of protecting, healing, and restoring those around you, not through ritual but through resonance. Now listen carefully. The covenant activates through remembrance. To remember is to rejoin the divine current that flows through time. Close your eyes and breathe. Picture yourself standing in a vast expanse of golden light. Around you, countless souls shimmer like stars. At the center stands Archangel Michael, towering, radiant, unyielding. He extends his sword and draws a line of fire across the sky. The flame does not burn, it awakens. He speaks, those who remember the first promise shall never fall to the last dissection. That's the law of the covenant. Type Amen 11:24 right now if you remember your light. Let heaven hear your declaration and record your awakening. The covenant also comes with responsibility. It grants spiritual authority, but it demands purity of intention. You cannot use this energy for harm, pride, or personal gain. The covenant does not serve ego, it serves order. Michael warns that those who must use their gifts invite imbalance, and imbalance attracts darkness. The mark of protection you received earlier is not a badge of superiority, it is a mantle of service. You are called not to boast light but to be light. To walk as proof that faith still stands in a world that trembles. Michael reveals something few understand. Angels require human vessels to act in the physical plane. Through willing hearts, they channel protection and guidance. You are not just receiving divine help, you are becoming its instrument. When you comfort the broken, when you speak truth, when you pray for another, you fulfill the covenant. It's when heaven moves through you. You're not alone, not for a single breath. The moment you align your will with divine purpose, Michael and his legions move beside you, by payment 7058 if you choose to serve the covenant of light. Say it with conviction, because this is more than words, it's initiation. Now, there's one final secret hidden within this ancient pact. The covenant is self-repairing. Every time one soul remembers it, the entire web of light across earth strengthens. Every prayer, every act of kindness, every conscious reduction of deception repairs another thread in that web. You may think your awakening is personal, but it's part of a much larger plan. Michael says, each awakening lights another flame, and the world brightens by degrees. You are part of a living grid of souls connected through divine current, and your awareness adds voltage to that grid. And when the grid reaches critical illumination, the demon's veil will shatter completely. Its illusions, its systems, its false comforts, they will crumble under the frequency of truth. This is the prophecy embedded in the covenant, that one day, light will flood every corner of the earth again, and the deceiver will have nowhere left to hide. You are not waiting for that day, you are helping to create it. But the battle is not over yet. The demon still has one last weapon, the distortion of time. It uses hurry, delay, and confusion to keep souls from alignment. That is what Michael warns about next. He says, the deceiver manipulates the hours, making the faithful feel late when they are right on time. In Part 8, you will learn how time itself has been twisted, and how to realign your spirit with the true divine clock, the rhythm of heaven. Stay with me. Don't look away. What you are about to hear will make you see reality itself in a way you never have before. Archangel Michael says, the final illusion is not darkness, it is time. The deceiver has learned that if it can control your sense of time, it can control your destiny. The war is no longer about space, or even belief, it's about the hours of your life. And the truth is that time, as you know it, has been hijacked. Michael warns that the demon's latest deception is the manipulation of rhythm. The divine order that once guided humanity's heartbeat with heaven's pulse, in the beginning. Every living thing moved in harmony with creation. The sun, the stars, the cycles of the earth, all beat with one rhythm, the rhythm of God's order. But when the deceiver fell, it introduced false time. It replaced the eternal flow with chaos, impatience, delay, exhaustion, and distraction. Humanity began to measure life not by divine purpose but by ticking seconds. A shift was subtle but catastrophic. The more you rush, the more you drift from divine timing. The more you delay what must be done, the more opportunities fade from your path. The demon knows this, and so it whispers constantly, "You're too late," or "You're not ready yet." Both are lies designed to fracture your alignment. The truth, Michael says, is that heaven's timing never runs late, and the awakened are always right on schedule. You felt it, haven't you? The endless rush that leaves you drained. The sense that no matter how hard you try, something's always out of sync. That's not coincidence, it's the interference of false time. Michael says that the enemy's greatest trick was making humanity believe that time is an enemy, but in truth, time is sacred. It's a living current that responds to faith. Close your eyes. Imagine standing in a river of golden light, each ripple representing a moment in your life. Now imagine that current flowing perfectly, smoothly, without resistance. That is divine timing. The state you were created to live in. But when fear and distraction enter, the current fragments, and you find yourself fighting against the flow. The more you struggle, the more exhausted you become. That is how the demon drains your strength, not by attack, but by exhilaration. It forces you to run endlessly toward goals that were never meant to be yours. Michael teaches that there are 3 signs that false time has entered your life. The first is constant fatigue, a weariness that no sleep can cure. The second is emotional volatility, feeling rushed one moment, hopeless the next. The third is forgetfulness of purpose. You start to live by routine rather than reason. When these 3 converge, you are out of alignment. But the good news is, the divine rhythm can be restored. Stop Amen 33:45 if you are ready to realign with heaven's timing. Speak it now and prepare for restoration. To restore divine timing, Michael says you must first pause. Stopping is not failure, it's spiritual recalibration. When you pause, the noise clears, and the true rhythm begins to surface again. The second step is listen. He says the universe still sings, but humanity no longer listens. Sit in silence, even for a few minutes each day. You will begin to sense a pattern, synchronicities, repeated numbers, coincidences that seem too perfect. These are not random, they are heaven's clock striking in your favor. The third step is act when peace appears. Divine timing always arrives with peace. If you must force it, it's not from God. If it flows with ease, it's your path. Type Amen 8877 right now to seal that discernment into your spirit. Michael says that false time is woven into modern life like a net. Everything is designed to pull you away from stillness, constant alerts, perpetual tasks, endless noise. The demon feeds on urgency because urgency keeps you from hearing divine instruction. It makes you react instead of respond. It makes you doubt your intuition, and once doubt settles, the connection weakens. But Michael reminds us that you still have authority. You can reclaim every stolen moment by commanding alignment. When you say, "I return my life to divine rhythm," you literally reset your energy field to heaven's timeline. Miracles begin when you move in sync with that flow. Let me tell you something powerful. People who live in divine timing appear blessed. But it's not luck. It's alignment. You walk into the right places at the right times. They meet the right souls. They avoid destruction by inches, not because of chance, but because their steps are guided. Heaven's rhythm moves them like music, and Michael conducts that orchestra. You can live like that, you were meant to live like that. Michael's warning grows sharper here. The deceiver cannot touch those who live in rhythm with truth. That's why the enemy works so hard to keep you busy, tired, and rushed. Because stillness is strength. In stillness, revelation flows. That's where miracles are born. The moment you silence the false time, you hear heaven again. And now comes the revelation that most will struggle to believe. Michael says that the true divine timeline is not linear. It's circular. Every action, every choice, every moment returns to you in perfect completion. When you act in light, the cycle closes with blessing. When you act in fear, the cycle returns as confusion. The deceiver's entire agenda is to keep you spinning in incomplete cycles, starting and stopping without ever finishing. That's why people remain trapped in emotional loops and repeating failures. They are caught in cycles that never close. But the covenant of light restores the perfect circle. When you live in alignment, every cycle completes with purpose. Every lesson resolves in wisdom. Every wound transforms into strength, that is divine order. That is heaven's clutch striking again. Listen closely. If you've been feeling lost, as if time itself has betrayed you, this is your sign that the correction has already begun. Michael is resetting your path even as you read these words. You may notice doors reopening, opportunities reappearing, people from your past returning with new energy. These are not coincidences. They are restorations. Heaven wastes nothing. Stay till the end because part 9 reveals the enemy's final deception, the false ascension. Michael says many will soon believe they are rising in light when, in truth, they are being pulled into the deepest illusion yet. The demon last strategy is to mimic enlightenment itself. You must know how to tell the difference between true awakening and false elevation, or you could lose everything. Do not skip. Do not drift. The clock is resetting, and your awareness is your anchor. The greatest test is about to begin, but so is your greatest victory. Stay right where you are, don't move, don't scroll, and don't let your mind wander. Because this is the most dangerous revelation yet. Archangel Michael's message has reached its critical warning. The deceiver now wears the mask of light. The final weapon has been unleashed. It's not darkness that threatens the world now. It's false light. The demon has realized it can no longer rule through fear alone, so it has chosen to mimic divinity itself. And millions are falling for it. Michael calls this phenomenon the false ascension. It's a spiritual trap disguised as enlightenment. It promises awakening but leads to spiritual paralysis. It looks holy, sounds holy, even feels holy, but it's hollow at its core. The demon knows that if it cannot destroy faith, it can distort it. And that is exactly what it's doing now. He says, the greatest danger is not in losing light. It's in embracing counterfeit light. You've seen it. Movements that promise instant ascension. Teachings that glorify ego under the guise of spirituality. Influencers claiming divine power without humility. Voices that tell you, you are your own God. Its statement, though coded in empowerment, is the oldest lie ever spoken. It's the same whisper the serpent used in Eden. You shall be as gods. The false ascension is not evolution. It's rebellion recycled. Michael reveals that the deceiver has woven this illusion into every realm, religion, media, and even modern spirituality. It offers love without truth, peace without discipline, and power without service. It convinces the seeker that they can rise without humility, that they can hold light without surrendering to divine order. But true ascension is not the elevation of self. It's the alignment of self with the source. Listen carefully, the false ascension has 3 stages. The first is deception through beauty. It appears radiant, comforting, and affirming. It tells you that darkness no longer exists, that all paths lead to light. That's the bait. Once you accept that, discernment dies. The second stage is absorption. The soul begins to crave more spiritual highs, more sensations of bliss, more signs and wonders, while slowly disconnecting from genuine prayer and grounding. And the third stage is spiritual imburium. That's when the deceiver fully replaces light with imitation. The soul feels illuminated but is actually trapped in its own reflection. Type Amen 42:22 if you choose true light over false glory. Let heaven know you see through the illusion. Michael says that false light burns fast and fades quickly, while true light endures even in silence. Real enlightenment doesn't always feel euphoric. It feels steady, humbling, balanced. It transforms character, not just emotion. It makes you serve, not boast. The demon hates humility because humility removes its excess. A moment you kneel in sincerity, you become untouchable. That's why Michael's first command to his warriors was not fight, but stand. Because only the grounded can withstand the storm. He warns that the false ascension often begins subtly, with thoughts like I don't need protection anymore. Or I've transcended beyond good and evil. Those phrases sound profound but are spiritual poison. They erase accountability. And without accountability, truth dissolves. Michael says the one who thinks they no longer need armor has already been marked. Remember that true ascension doesn't abolish vigilance. It deepens it. Let's test the light for what it truly is. Michael gives us a simple rule. The true light serves love. The false light serves self. If a teaching leads you to compassion, humility, and honesty, it's divine. If it leads you to pride, detachment, or superiority, it's counterfeit. The deceiver has mastered the language of positivity but cannot mimic sincerity. Sincerity is heaven's signature. That's how you tell the difference. Type Amen 9051 if you choose sincerity as your seal of light. Speak it and claim it. Now, here's the shocking truth. Many who believe they are ascending are actually descending into self-worship. They are led to believe they've transcended all need for angels, prayer, or God. But Michael reminds us that even the highest beings in heaven still bow before the source. Ascension without reverence is rebellion. the true awakened don't rise away from God. They rise toward Him. Michael's words grow fiercer now. The false light teaches pleasure. The true light teaches peace. Understand that difference. Pleasure fades. Peace endures. One feeds the senses. The other strengthens the soul. The deceiver uses beauty to seduce, intelligence to convince, and emotion to enslave. But there is one thing it cannot replicate: truth that changes lives. False light entertains. True light transforms. You may ask, how do I protect myself from this? Michael's answer is simple. Stay anchored in gratitude and humility. Each morning before you speak, whisper, "Thank you." Gratitude realigns you with heaven's vibration. It breaks the trance of false ascension instantly. Darkness thrives on dissatisfaction. Gratitude starves it. The humble heart shines brighter than any false light because humility creates space for truth to dwell. Michael says this deception will soon intensify. You will see false prophets rise, charismatic, powerful, persuasive. They will promise awakening but preach rebellion. They will mock angels, redefine truth, and call darkness misunderstood. And many will follow them because they speak to what humanity wants to hear, not what it needs to know. But those who remain in the covenant of light will see through the veil. They will recognize that real holiness is simple. It doesn't boast. It doesn't market itself. It doesn't demand worship. It simply is. There's a hidden blessing in this battle. The presence of false light means true light is near. The deceiver imitates only what exists. That means the year of revelation is already unfolding. The darkness copies the design because it fears the original, and that original, truth itself, is returning through you, through every awakened heart that refuses illusion. Stay till the end because in part 10 the final revelation arrives. Archangel Michael will reveal the great unveiling, the moment when truth and deception will no longer coexist and every hidden thing will be seen for what it is. In that last message you will learn the destiny of those who remain faithful, the role of the marked souls, and the promise Michael swore before the throne of God itself. You not skip. Do not break the chain. You walk through Jerusalem through warning. Through fire. Now the light awaits. Stay until the very last line. This is the moment everything converges. The truth, the test, and the triumph. The story that began with warning now ends with awakening. What you are about to read is the revelation Archangel Michael called the Great Unveiling. For ages the world has existed in layers. Truth beneath illusion, light behind shadow, reality beneath performance. The demon that hid in plain sight believed it could rule forever by dividing hearts and confusing minds. But the hour of revelation has come. Michael's voice resounds like thunder across every realm. The veil shall tear and what was hidden shall stand revealed. In this moment the false light flickers. The counterfeit teachings, the empty promises, the deceiving glamour, all begin to collapse under the weight of truth. Humanity, weary and half asleep, begins to stir. You feel it too, that pulse of recognition in your chest. It is the same rhythm that guided you here through every warning, every whisper, every sign. The veil is lifting not out there but within you. Michael stands upon the boundary between realms, his sword blazing. He calls the marked souls, the purified, the faithful, the awakened, to step forward. You are one of them. He speaks not in language but in resonance. The war is won when the heart remembers, and suddenly everything becomes clear. The battle was never about defeating darkness. It was about remembering light. The demon's greatest trick was convincing you that you were powerless. The unveiling is realizing you never were. Type AIM in 2419 if you claim that remembrance now. Let this be your final seal of alignment. Across the world, unseen energies shift. Chains dissolve. The noise quiets. The covenant of light hums alive again, connecting every awakened soul in one vast network of illumination. Michael's legions move like waves of starlight across the horizon, not descending to destroy but to reveal. Where truth shines, lies dissolve on their own. The deceiver cannot stand in exposure. Its empire depends on secrecy. That's why this unveiling matters. It's not punishment, it's clarity. Michael's final words echo softly. The light you seek is the light you are. With that, the sword lowers, and the sky itself seems to breathe. The storm that has raged for generations begins to clear, and for the first time in centuries, peace feels possible again. Not the peace of silence but the peace of understanding. You realize that this entire journey, from the first warning to this final revelation, was preparation. You were never being frightened. You were being fortified. Type AIM in 6037 to anchor the truth within you. As the great unveiling completes, the world does not end. Instead, it begins anew. The shadows retreat not because they are destroyed, but because light no longer fears them. The human spirit, once fragmented, now remembers its covenant. Those who carried the mark walk through chaos untouched, spreading calm where panic once ruled. Illusion collapses quietly, like mist before the sunrise. And as you stand in that dawn, you understand the final secret. The warning was never a threat. It was an invitation. An invitation to awaken, to protect, to serve, and to remember. Archangel Michael's message is complete, but his presence remains steady, silent, watching through every act of courage, every prayer of gratitude, every moment you choose truth over illusion. Do not forget what you have learned. The war may continue in the world, but within you, it is over. The light has won.